of being unable to think of what to eat or how to proceed with eating.
If you're new to our channel, I'm Kim.
I'm Vicki.
Here is some inspiration for your next meal. Today we'll be making PHO GA, which is chicken pho. Let's get started! The ingredients you'll need are these thick, fat noodles. I got this from an American store actually, and it's called Rice Ribbons Shallot, and it's Rose brand. So this is better than regular traditional pho noodles because I feel like it makes it more fresh. It's a lot thicker, just gives it that extra oomph. And then you'll need rock sugar. It's really important to use this over regular sugar because it's really important to keep the pho broth clear. And yellow onion, you'll need 2 of these. Shallots, 1 is good. 2 to 3 knobs of ginger. Whole chickens, I got these 2 from Costco. If you're just using a small batch, you can just use 1 chicken, but it's important to get the broth extra meaty and sweet from the meat. So if you're gonna use 1 chicken, you'll wanna get a stewing hen, and that you can get at H Mart and the Asian store. It's usually frozen. The stewing hen is not meant for eating, so it's just for the broth. You'll eat this chicken and then use a stewing hen for the broth. And then you buy this PHO special spice. It has cinnamon, star anise, and ginger. Of course, fish sauce, salt. The first thing you'll be doing is cleaning the chickens. What you'll use is salt and water. You want to make sure you use a generous amount. And then put on some gloves like Vicki has so that your bare hands aren't touching the raw chicken. And then just rub the chicken all over so they get nice and clean. Get in the crevices. You just want to make sure that the chicken's clean before you cook it. You don't want that smell on it. You don't want whatever has touched it to be in your broth. All right, so you'll need a pot that's gonna fit both the chickens, obviously. Something like this, nice and deep. And then you'll just fill the pot with water, enough to cover both the chickens. So now these babies are ready to boil. Follow me. So first we're gonna make the broth, and you wanna turn the stove on high. And then you're gonna add in the onions, the ginger, and the shallots. We've already roasted this, so you put it into the oven on a cooking sheet for 30 minutes. But if you're like low on time or you wanna cut down the time, feel free to just put it in the microwave for 6 minutes each. This is gonna give it that pho aroma. Aroma. And then you're gonna put in a cup of fish sauce. Surprisingly, a lot of people don't use fish sauce, they just use salt. That's weird to me because I put fish sauce in everything, but it's personal preference. If you don't like it, don't put it, just put salt.
We put fish sauce in our spaghetti.
Yeah, so you can't tell me not to put it. And then like a teaspoon of salt. You'll put a tablespoon, just look for a rock that looks like a tablespoon of rock sugar. Rock sugar is a little hard for me to use just because it's hard to tell what the size is. So it's best to start off small and then add on if you feel like the broth needs it. And that's it for now. We won't put the spices until the very end, just because if you leave it in there for too long, the broth starts getting bitter and then it makes the broth dark. So now is the waiting game. We'll just let it come to a boil and then let the chickens cook. So we're not gonna use a lid. You can if you want, but there's just this belief that if you use one, the water gets a little bit foggy, and we're trying to make the clearest broth as possible. Okay, so once the broth gets to a rolling boil, you're gonna wanna skim the surface for fat. So it's the more yellow looking broth that's sitting on top. Honestly, that's my favorite part in the boil.
Mine too.
At this point, you're gonna want to just let it boil for another 20 minutes because you want the chicken to cook, and we'll come back and check on the chicken. It's time to shred the chicken. So I just basically grab at the first thing I see, and then you just wanna shred it in a separate bowl. So like I said, you can't really gauge how much time to cook your chicken. You just have to poke it, look at it, and then take it out when it's done. When it's not bleeding anymore. So when you are taking off the meat off the bones, don't throw the bones away. You're actually gonna wanna hang on to it because we're gonna throw it back into the broth. Turn the stove on, back on high. And all the chicken bones that we saved, we're going to put back in. Add in the spices. You wanna save it till the very end, like I mentioned earlier, because you don't want it to get dark and you also don't want the broth to get bitter. So let's go ahead and just do 2 packs.
Oh, they come in
They come in packs.
packages.
Yeah.
Like tea bags.
Yeah. So with star anise and cinnamon, if you do like a traditional pho, you have to roast the spices on the stove. And so you have to roast it and then you have
It's
to put
so
it.
much work.
Yeah. And then you have to add it to like a cheesecloth and then put it into the into the pot. But with this, everything's done for you.
Done for you.
So we're gonna go ahead, put this into the broth. All right, so just let that sit for 15 minutes and we'll revisit it. We've microwaved the noodles for 1.5 minutes. It depends how much you're using, but 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes is ideal. It's okay if they don't separate right away because the broth will kind of tear it apart. So now we're assembling the bowl. So Vicky, get as much chicken as you want.
Oh.
Kind of just, and then a little bit of cilantro, onions, and
A lot of it, you mean?
red onions. I like it for the scent. I enjoy it a lot. So we'll put it over the top. Okay, we're ready for the broth. So the spice packages have been seeping for 20 minutes now. It's a good time to take them out. Just set them aside in a separate bowl or the garbage, whatever's closest to you. And then you're just gonna pour over the hot broth onto the noodles and the chicken. It smells so good right now, you guys. And a major key is keeping the broth clear, like I said. So watch this. It's just like water. And it is ready to be eaten. We are done, finally. Actually, it only took 1.5 hours. If you would have made beef pho, it would have taken at least 4 hours.
Minimum.
So, yeah. So the thing I like about chicken pho and why I always gravitate towards it is because it's cost efficient. Literally this whole meal that's probably gonna serve 12 people costed $30. And the last time I made beef pho, it costed $100 plus. This was very quick. It's so tasty, it's delicious. And so we're gonna dig in. What you're gonna dip your chicken in is this ginger fish sauce.
The secret sauce.
Yeah.
But not so secret,
Because we've told you guys the secret. So if you haven't tuned into our banseo video, check that out for the fish sauce recipe. And all you have to do is add ginger. At least 1 to 2 tablespoons. That's it.
Game changer.
So bomb. Game changer. You're gonna dip every piece of chicken in it. Add some bean sprouts, basil. Let's.
Oh, God.
It's fire. So good. So I hope you guys saw how easy that was. Was that easy? I was teaching her.
So easy. 10 out of 10 recommend you recreate this recipe at home.
Yeah.
I just learned today. It was so easy.
But you're like super intimidated when you hear about making pho, right? It just seems like super time consuming.
Like you need
really
at
hard.
least 2 days.
So we hope you guys enjoyed that recipe. Let us know what you think in our comments, what you want to see next. We'll post it for you guys. Bye.